everybody, my name is Teresa Tevon, and today I'm going to be talking about the controversial topic if student athletes should be paid outside of their tuition. I'm a student athlete at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. The topic of whether student athletes should be paid or not outside of the tuition is very relatable to me because I am a student athlete. I also know how collegiate athletics work and I have an insider's view. Even though I'm a student athlete, I do not believe we should be paid outside of our tuition or stipend. If you do not know what a stipend is, it is basically free for all money, and the student athletes are to use this for whatever they'd like, whether it's books, room and board, or even going on a shopping spree. They can use this money for whatever they like, and they don't need to tell the athletic department about it. There are many reasons for why I think student athletes should not be paid. Unfair wages based on sex or sport could come of this. Athletes already receive many things that are free. And last, it could have an effect on the university, not just athletics. Today, I just want to inform you more specifically about this controversial topic and how it could be detrimental not to just the athletic department, but the university as a whole. So let's start by looking over a real-life example of athletes trying to make this happen. In the spring of 2014, the Northwestern football team did something that has never been done before in college sports. Several athletes, who also, I might add, have scholarships, voted on whether the team should be unionized. The players also believe that they should be reimbursed for their play on the field. This real-life example brings me to my first point as to why student athletes should not be paid outside of tuition. First, this is a football team. Football teams are more favored than any other collegiate sport on a college campus, which means they receive a bigger budget. Now, this is just for the situation. If it were a basketball team, like on the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay campus, they still receive a bigger budget and are still favored more than other sports. And I would know this because I'm a student athlete. With that budget, like I said previously, they receive free apparel, which is free shoes, free uniforms, multiple pairs of shoes, and if they require equipment, they would receive free equipment. So let's say it's a softball team. They would receive free bats, free masks, free balls, free gloves, etc. And they would also receive free food. In fact, the NCAA just passed a rule permitting schools to provide their student athletes with unlimited food benefits. And we actually have this at UWGB. It's called the Nutrition Station, and it's mostly for after your workouts or before your workouts. You can have protein shakes, granola bars, bagels, fruit smoothies. So they do provide us unlimited food benefits. With having all of that, there is no need for student athletes to be paid anything extra with having free food, free gear, free apparel, and everything like that. My second point is that football, in this situation, is a male sport, or if they would have chose male basketball. I'm just using this as an example. So if Northwestern University were to comply with the football team, Title IX would absolutely come into account. Title IX is basically a rule in the NCAA booklet that all women and male teams need to be equal no matter what. So then, if they would have chosen to do this for the football team, the university would then have to pick a female sport to pay so that it is equal throughout. And it would comply with Title IX. This would then lead to more unfair possibilities of other teams not being paid. So if they chose the female tennis team, why did they choose the female softball team or the volleyball team? There are just many unfair possibilities that could come out of this. Another reason as to why student athletes should not be paid is that it could affect the entire university and not just the athletic department. To make up for the money that would be lost by the athletic department, schools would have to use tuition money to make up the difference. According to Jeffrey Dorfman, a professor of economics at the University of Georgia, he states that if athletes were to be paid, this can mean tuition increases at many colleges throughout the United States. A raise in tuition could mean that non-student athletes around the world, so regular students, would not be able to attend college due to financial issues. So with that being said, the university would use the tuition that is being paid by non-student athletes. They would use that money to pay these student athletes. So this would be super detrimental in any just non-student athletes' education. So even though student athletes put in many hours on and off the field or court, and I know this firsthand because I am a student athlete, there are still many reasons as to why they should not be paid outside of their tuition or stipends. Universities do not generate enough revenue to cover the difference. If this were to happen, it would be unfair to athletes who do not play a profitable sport like football. So in my case, tennis is not a profitable sport. We do not charge fans to come in and watch our matches, but football, basketball, and volleyball does. So that would be unfair to my sport of tennis. And it would also create problems for the university and put the education of non-student athletes in jeopardy. So like I had said before, non-student athlete students would not be able to come to this campus because they're using that tuition, which makes it more expensive to pay student athletes. Overall, paying student athletes would just create more problems than it would solve. Thank you, and I hope this made you more knowledgeable about this controversial topic of whether or not to pay student athletes outside of their tuition.